So today we're looking into the Remigration summit that happened in Porto, and if you haven't heard about this at all, it means your brain is probably healthier than mine, to be honest. The summit is basically about a bunch of right-wing, far right-wing people gathering together to talk about remigration of the migrant status in Europe. And depending on who you ask about the subject, some people may say it's an important issue, and some people may say it's a bunch of Nazis trying to take over Europe right now. So it's a huge controversial situation where everyone surrounding it has extreme views, and not just the people attending it. The people outside it also have extreme views against them. There is no middle ground on this, so if you either hate it or you love it. One side was acting as if Porto, where it happened, was some sort of Mordor, and the rest of the people, the ones that actually liked the situation, were behaving as if it was gonna save Western civilization. So again, there is no middle ground. So one of the biggest figures of this was Eva, and I'm sorry if I mispronounce the last name, Vlandingerbroek. She is one of the people that is the most advocate about this, about saving Europe from the migrants, about the invasion and replacement of the European culture, basically, of what that's basically what they're talking about. She was present, so it was a summit where Afonso, the guy from the previous video you probably watched, if you haven't, the guy that was in Tyler Oliveira's video, I suppose that's how he will be more famous on people outside Portugal. This guy, basically, he was the guy that organized it, and he invited lots of right-wing people from all over the planet, and some of them were even from right-wing parties, like Vox from Spain. So I will just play a clip of Eva talking. I mean, why not? They don't want to. I think you prefer to hear her talk than me.
You, all of you, the 600 people here, you guys are the future of Europe. You guys will make remigration happen, and you will save this continent by the grace of God, I'm sure of it.
It has a huge religious vibes, actually. This is the issue that people are complaining about, where they are basically... This guy looks like Breivik, I just realized. Is he Breivik? No, Breivik is dead, right? Looks like Breivik. Does anyone know who that guy is? Because it looks like Breivik. But yeah, that's what most people are complaining about, that it's very, very... They make it look like it's like they are the Messiah and stuff like that. Many people complain about this vibe, but if you watched my previous video, I completely understand both sides. Like, on one side, there is people who feel like their cultures are being replaced, who are being threatened by constant fears or constant new people with different cultures joining their everyday life. And then on the other side, there's people who are advocating against racism. So
welcome to Porto.
That guy is also an Instagram famous dude, I think. I don't remember his name.
To Portugal, I want to thank you all for being here and ask for a big round of applause to all of you.
Also, bear in mind that most of it from the inside was only recorded by them. So there was no invited media that was not authorized to film. So according to them, basically the reason why was to avoid people chasing after them. Like, there are many controversial opinions that many people may have inside that summit that would cause them to lose their jobs, cause them to be doxxed potentially, and it is a bit unfair because they are practicing their free speech. So I don't think that politics, unless it was extreme prejudice or violence, should impact their free speech. You understand?
That is the price we must pay to save our peoples, then so be it. Because our existence is not negotiable.
And this is an increasing movement as well, because if you think about it, if all of Europe joined this summit, like at least many representatives joined this summit, it means that there are not many countries that are happy with the current situation.
Only a generation who has witnessed the erasure of Europe is equipped for this political struggle. This is indeed the remigration generation.
us, by having children, we are producing that chain to infinity for Western civilization. We have it within us. We have the key. All we have to do is step through the door. And we can do that together.
Ladies and gentlemen, Maximilian Marco!
Hello, thank you very much. I think we all heard the sentence where justice becomes injustice, resistance becomes a duty, but obedience a crime. And I have to tell, there comes a time where a man simply has to say no further. I don't want to further retrieve. I don't want my son to fight the fights his father was afraid to fight.
At the center of it, without further ado, should we ask everyone to come up to the front and sign the Save Europe Act right now so that we can put remigration at the center of the debate and get things moving?
And absolutely no amount of name calling can keep me from fighting that fight.
And that's one of the reasons why this is so secretive, I would say, because many of their opinions will be ostracized. Like they will be called everything, from Nazis to KKK to racists to everything, and they are literally from what they are saying. I was not there, defending their point. They want a safer Europe for the overall European culture and the individual of each country's cultures. Because at the end of the day, I mean, every country should have that right to defend.
Never
their own
forget,
culture.
the future is bright. The future belongs to us.
Folks, this is survival of culture. Survival of the culture rests with you right now. What an exciting time to live in here in Europe and the United States.
So this was the guy that organized it. I will also show the people who some more opinions that are against it.
Hi, so we're here at the Remigration Summit. We're here with
Afonso Gonçalves.
acting like as if nobody knows him. He's the organizer of the whole thing. But yeah, I wanted to ask, since you said Chega wasn't really that supportive, how close do you think we are to actually get organizations like Reconquista at the national level and the Remigration Summit at the European level to actually...
So for context, basically Chega is the far-right party on the biggest one in Portugal, and apparently from what Afonso says, he invited them to the summit, but none of them showed up. I don't know to what point that's true or false. I have no idea. He says he did. They said no, or they said he didn't. So it's a bit of a weird situation, because technically, according to him, it would have made perfect sense for Chega to be there as well.
actually move the parties and not the other way around?
No, that's a great question and a very important question to think about. I think that Chega has had a pathway as a party, and in the past they used to try to dissociate themselves and distance themselves as much as possible from our ideas. But recently, specifically in the last year, Chega was supportive and still is, through some voices in the party, supportive of remigration. Unfortunately, they are not represented here today, but this is a question for them to answer. We invited all the parties, and we are very glad and very proud of all the parties that were represented, the AfD, Vox, etc. All of the people from European Parliament who are here. I think that we are making very good advancements towards remigration.
But one thing that I'm very surprised is that the speeches here are very rehearsed, which is not a bad thing. It's very good, because I was expecting people to just say, oh, we need to change some policies, but no, they are all speaking in a way that it sounds like it's the monologue before the end credits, right? Everyone has their own very rehearsed speech, which is not a bad thing.
And I think that for now we should focus on having our own people in every institution, in the most important parties. So the people who agree with us, they should be a part of Chega now, and in other countries they should be a part of the main right-wing party to force these ideas on these parties.
Maybe something that makes people not really want to join parties, or maybe right-wing organizations that they might see as extremists, that there is this risk involved. So why should they join? What should you tell them to actually make them optimist about the future and, them actually contributing to the cause?
No, I think that in the last years we have made great advancements to our cause, and I think that in the last hurdle of difficulty, after you overcome that, is where victory is awaiting. So we should never lose hope, because when the situation becomes more dire and more difficult, is also when the opportunity is better and the opportunity is bigger, and more people are waking up, because the situation is so dire and so tragic. That's the reason why people are waking up. So it needs to be worst before it gets better, and I think we are making great advancements. 5 years ago, 3 years ago, you didn't have mainstream people like Elon Musk and other famous influential figures in the world defending our ideas, or at least.
And to be fair, I mean, if you watched my previous video about this, many of the comments prove his point, which is scary. Like many migrants were justifying coming to Portugal just because Portugal did it as well 300 years ago. So it sounded like it was not. It sounded like there was a negative intent to it. So it kind of proves his point, really. So this is Eva.
I'm 29 years old, a wife, a mother, and a remigration activist.
Let's talk about your new project. You just told us a little bit about it on stage. Please tell the audience a little bit what you're doing, like what's new.
Yeah. Okay, so the Save Europe Act was an idea that was born out of actually frustration. Things are going too slow here in Europe when it comes to immigration and especially remigration. Obviously, the borders are still wide open and nobody is being sent home, but the situation is deteriorating. We are about to become a minority in our own countries, and we cannot just wait for politicians to save our lives. So what I was thinking was we need to do something like a grassroots movement. We need to get people behind something. And so I drafted the Save Europe Act, which is essentially a legal proposal that we will send to the European Commission and demand that they transform into law.
So, and this is a supposed good thing, because this is what democracy is for, right? In the sense that if they are going through the legal way of going to the European Commission, where most of the laws are passed or rejected, this is what you voted for. This is why democracy exists, for people to try and change laws. That's exactly what it is. If they were not allowed to do that, it would not be democracy anymore. Does it make sense? Now, there was people who were against it, obviously, and what I mean by the lack of democracy is exactly that. So the far left parties of Portugal tried to have the event completely cancelled and censored, but again, this completely defeats the purpose of democracy, because democracy allows people to have their opinions and vote. If they vote, they vote. If they don't, they don't. That's the whole point of democracy, whether you agree with the opinions or not. So let's them have their meeting, let them have their opinions, and if it ends up passing the law, it means people want that. If it doesn't pass, people don't want it. That's the definition of democracy. If no one wants that, no one will vote for it. If the majority wants for it, who is anyone to say no? Because if the majority wants it, the majority wants it. So let it go to the European Commission and see what happens. That's my opinion. Like, I think every law should be able to go through for at least for submission, for people to vote on it, to understand if it's viable or not. As the more opinions we have about many subjects, the better, because that's how brainstorming works, right? If everyone is thinking the same thing, no one evolves. Essentially, that's why technology evolves the most during war, because both sides are having to compete so much that they end up creating just to defeat the other side. So if everyone comes together and spouts out different opinions, it will benefit more than everyone just saying, oh yeah, let's all agree on the same thing. Understand? That's my point. I think it's very healthy for democracy for everyone to have a different opinion, and to not be shunned for having a different opinion, unless they are strictly going full racist mode. If that was the case, sure. If they just called someone the N-word or something like that, I agree that it would not be good. But they are not. They are literally not doing that. At least not publicly. I don't know. There's also this guy who's from Wired. He's a journalist who went to the summit, and he's very much against it, of course, as it seems. And he shares his opinion. So let's see it. Let's see that.
90 minutes south of Porto for one of Europe's biggest far-right conferences, where the theme is Remigration, the racist ideology that advocates for the mass deportation of immigrants and non-white citizens. As well as hearing from elected officials and far-right activists from across Europe, there are also a large cohort of figures from the US, most notably Greg Bovino, former Border Patrol leader who became the face of Donald Trump's hardline deportation efforts.
It's always good to be with like-minded folks, especially individuals that understand, like Martin or Ava here, that understand the depth and the scope of the problem and what awaits and what Europe faces with such a problem if it's not addressed rather rapidly. Same thing for the United States. Martine and I talked. Same problems, same issues, same solutions.
But as the conference takes place in the building behind me right now, the speakers talking about their free speech being trampled on and activists being censored on social media, myself and the rest of the media here to cover the event have been regulated to a tent in a car park outside the building, preventing us from witnessing what is happening inside. Conference organizer Martin Sellner told me the decision to block media access was to protect the privacy of attendees who he said may lose their jobs if they were revealed to be attending a Remigration conference. But ahead of the event, I was able to witness activists from across Europe, including Ireland, the UK and France, walking in, as well as members of Patriot Front, a white supremacist group from the US. So while this is meant to be a conference about free speech, I can't tell you exactly who's here or what they're talking about.
But to be fair, like I understand this point, but he invited who they wanted to invite. So if it's a private event, you can't just expect to enter uninvited, right?
I'm here in Portugal, and
so yeah, the main points that he had was basically that this is a racist event, but he doesn't know exactly what was said inside because he was not there. He was not allowed inside, which again can mean negative things, but it can also not mean. We don't know. So it's a bit useless to guess what it was. And I mean, I've already said this before, I am not right or left. I don't believe in those spectrums of politics because I think they were both created by like-minded people, let's say. So I think that people just need to look at it from what makes sense right now. If you say that you are left-wing or right-wing and the policies that the right or left are creating goes against you, and you continue flaunting that you are left or right, why it already shows that no one will advance if everyone has that feeling. And that's exactly what happens in America, where people who vote for the Democrats just vote for the Democrats because their family is Democratic, their family is Democrat, they were born Democrat. Doesn't make any sense. People who vote for Republicans vote because their family is Republican. They married Republican. It makes no sense in my brain, because politics should be about the people who are in charge, about the people who represent us, about the laws that represent us, the ideas that represent us. It should not matter the institution itself. So if you vote, like in Portugal's case, if you vote Bloco de Esquerda just because you are against Chega, or vice versa, if you vote Chega just because you hate the left, you are brainless, and that's my opinion. You should. Most of the people I know who voted either of the parties, any of the parties, they have no clue what the proposed changes were. They were just voting because I am this, I am that. And that fixes no country. This type of confusion is actually more detrimental than the immigration status, than the taxes and everything else, because no one is actually changing anything, because no one actually knows what the changes are. So my point with this random rant was that your opinion should not be changed just because someone has right ideas or left ideas. If those ideas exist, it's for a reason. And in these cases, I believe everyone should listen. Because look at the parliament. The parliament is usually with many parties of different countries, of different ideologies, at least in Europe. If everyone just decides, oh no, I will say no to this law because it's the left that's proposing, I will say no to this law because it's the right that's proposing, without actually listening to it, without actually listening to the benefits, without actually listening to what the bad it causes. Because I actually believe that's what happened in that's what caused this issue to begin with, where people just opened the doors without thinking of the consequences, because it was a left ideology situation, and most of the people who said yes, they were not even reading or listening. They were just said, yeah, that's good, while the right was saying no because it was the left without even knowing what it was. And now most likely the right is saying no again, and the left is not reading or listening because it's a right ideology. So if both of them just come together and actually see what the people need, I just believe every country would be much in a much better place, I think. Let me know in the comments what you think. This happened, I think, a week and a half ago. I was meaning to cover it, but again, we don't have a lot of information because what we have is what they posted. We just know it happened, and this is an increasing ideology of remigration. I don't think it will stop growing if things don't change, and I mean, it might as well just listen to understand what the issue is. And if both parties listen, if both sides listen, I think it will avoid many of the situations that America is going through. Because most of the times when the people is not listened to, it leads to violence. And that's what's happening in America right now, where both ideologies are just fighting each other for their own parties for no reason. Where anything that happens on one side, oh, I guess I need to attack that side, and vice versa. And to me, that makes no sense. So in order to have peaceful solutions, talking is my point. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoy this. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you soon.